Hey guys, Marmalade here with Marmalade Outdoors, and I cannot wait to do this video. I've been planning and thinking about this for a long time, but this is my big channel update, and it's my plans for this summer 2024 of hiking. And let's start with, I had a hard time logistically for a few different ways, but deciding what to do. As you may or may not know, last summer 2023, I finally finished the Pacific Crest Trail after 5 years. And, I have hopes and dreams of maybe doing the Triple Crown someday, which is the CDT and the Appalachian Trail. But I have to save some money and figure out my life in some areas, and didn't have enough time to do it, even if I wanted to this year. So it was kind of like, what do I want to do this summer? And the more and more I thought about it, well, I'm going to go through the whole plans, but I took about 2 months and 10 days off starting July 10th this summer and going through August and September. So I have the rest of July and then August and September off from work, so that's great news. And there were other trails that I was thinking of doing before I chose what I did. And you think about the Arizona Trail and the Colorado Trail and some of those that are through hikes, but not quite as long, of course, as the PCT for the amount of time I have. And I kept thinking about as I get older, I'm 61. I finished the trail at 61. I maybe have another good 10 years of hiking in me, depending on my health, But I was thinking about, besides, the CDT and the AT, what else would I want to do? And where would I want to go? What areas? So I have a pretty epic summer planned. It's going to be fluid in some ways, but let's start at the beginning and go through my plans for the whole summer. So if I haven't kept up the suspense long enough, it's about time to tell you. And when I thought about it, besides some of the other things I'm going to do this summer, I thought that I wanted to spend more time in the Sierra. So I'm going to do 2 trips this summer in the Sierra. If you stay to the very end, I'm going to ask possibly for some help with some of this. So stay to the end, and I'll let you kind of know what I'm thinking. But the first thing I wanted to do, and thanks to my friends Rick and Andrea, they have done the High Sierra Trail. So the more I researched it, the more I really, really wanted to do it. I'm going to put a map here somewhere. But the High Sierra Trail is roughly 71 miles long. And, the JMT and the PCT go vertically up and down, mostly north and south. But this goes west to east. And a couple things that are cool. You start in Sequoia National Park, and you go east, like the 71 miles, like I said, and you finish on Mount Whitney. Now, I've done Mount Whitney once on my, what ended up being my long-ass section hikes, Lashes, to finish the PCT. But if I do this trail, I will finish on the peak of Whitney, and then go down to the Whitney Portal, where I'll stage my car. I have a permit for 2, and I have a friend I've invited that's right now he's coming, and we'll see if he comes or not. When you invite people out way out ways, sometimes life happens and things get in the way. So hopefully he's going to go. This person is a very strong hiker, but it will be his first time in the Sierras. I thought, what a better way to do than take him on the High Sierra Trail. I've watched some videos on YouTube on it. It looks amazing. I've talked to my friends Rick and Andrew about it. And what I like about it, 71 miles, so, versus over 2,600 on the PCT, it's not a very long hike. I think it'll take me around 6 days if we average around, I don't know, about 12 miles a day. And the hardest thing, though, was permits. I don't know if any of you guys have tried to get a permit for the High Sierra Trail, but how this permit and the other permit I'm going to tell you about works is, and I'm usually not planned that far in advance, but all the permits are on a rolling calendar 6 months ahead. So, give you an example, if you want to hike July 1st, you've got to try to get your permit on February 1st, and so on. And what happens is every permit available in the Sierras for that 6 month out date is available at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So what's crazy about the High Sierra Trail is I got on about 5 minutes ahead of time. I had got right where I need to be, and all I have to do is click. And it was 7 o'clock and 1 second, and all 25 plus permits were gone. And I did it day after day after day. And I realized, holy smokes, I may not ever get a date in the window that I wanted. So I kept trying, and I think on the 7th or 8th day, I finally got one. I got one for 2. So I'm really stoked about that. Logistics are going to be a little bit iffy, which I'll talk to you about at the end of this video. But so that's the start. So I have, like I said, July 20th off. My permit is for July 24th. And if 6 days, I should finish on the 30th or maybe the 31st, depending on how we go. But so right around the end of July. So the next part of my summer kind of adventure is I'm going to have about 17 days till my next permit. So I'm going to have my car. I'm going to hopefully have it staged at the portal. So when I get done with the ICR trail, I can get on my car. And I want to head up north. I haven't even looked at some sites that I want to see on the way, but I definitely want to see my good friends, Dave and Christy, up in Bremerton, Washington. They were my first year. If you guys remember, I did the desert, came home, and I flipped up to the Canadian border. They let me, they were strangers at the time. They let me stay at their house. They drove me up there. They just catered to me, and we've become fast friends ever since. And one of the main reasons I want to see them is to see them. But they have a beautiful house right on Puget Sound, but also to hopefully do a shortest backpacking trip in the Olympic mountain range. So I have always wanted to hike up there somewhere. He lives there. It's kind of like me living in San Diego. I'm on the PCT all the time, and a lot of people say I'm lucky for that, and I agree. But he lives by the Olympic Mountains, and so we're gonna get some kind of permit and go out for maybe 3, 4, 5 days, something like that. So I'll get some visit time, get to go hike again. And you know, on the PCT, you probably heard me say that the Northern Cascades were my favorite part of the trail. So it'd be nice to be in similar kind of landscape and territory. So that is the plan. I also would like to maybe go. I already spoke to him on the phone, but Mike, my other friend who lives near Portland, he helped me. It's kind of hard now because it was 5 years of doing the trail, but a couple years ago, I was doing finishing the Sierras and got up to Donner Pass in Truckee, and they closed the trail in front of me. And so he reached out to me. At the time, he was a stranger again. I took a series of bus and train, got up to Portland and got back on. And we actually did Timberline Lodge in Oregon to the 50 miles of trail to Cascade Locks to the Oregon-Washington border together. And he just took care of me, he and his wife, and treated me great. So we're friends also. So I'm going to try to see them on the way there, on the way back. So that's the plan in those 17 days, is to drive up there, a road trip, go see them, try to get a small backpacking trip in, see some friends. And then I'll be heading back 2 or 3 days before the 17th of August, because I have a permit to do the John Muir Trail going northbound. So I'm super excited about that. I tried like heck. I really, you know, when I did the PCT, essentially do almost all of the JMT. I've already done it northbound, and I thought, well, I mean, I just absolutely love the Sierra, but I thought maybe it'd be kind of cool to go southbound, because, you know, the JMT starts or ends at Mount Whitney or Yosemite, so depending which way you go. So I got in the lottery. They have a lottery system. You get in. So I did it. It's like $10 for every week. I got in, picked every day of the week. I didn't get in a permit. So then I did it another week. The second week, didn't get in. Did it a third week, didn't get in. And then I was getting out of my range of dates that I have off for work. So I got a northbound permit in the meantime, just in case. So I'll be getting in at Cottonwood Pass. And a lot of you guys have probably done from there. It's a very popular place because, you guys, there is no actual JMT permit. It's just where you get on and get off. And so a lot of people that do it northbound, it's an easier permit to get. I'll hike about 14 miles or so to Rock Creek campground. Then it's about, I don't know, 5 or 6 to Crabtree Meadow. Then another 4 or 5, whatever, up to Guitar Lake. And then how it works is, theoretically, if this all works out, I'll have done Mount Whitney twice this summer. So that'll be 3 times overall. So that's really cool. To do it, you know, twice within a month will be very cool. But you need to hike up. So the first 2 days, and actually the first 2 days and a third won't even count, because you need to get to Mount Whitney when you're going north to start your northbound through hike. So then once you do that, then I'll go down, come back down the mountain, and then start heading north. It'll probably take me about two and a half weeks to do the trail, and I'll finish in Yosemite Valley. So that is I'm really excited about it. You know, when you're through hiking and you're worried about Canada and all that stuff, a lot of times you just don't stop and swim, and you don't just take as many breaks, and you're just worried about miles. And I was pushing miles in, and I'm still going to have to do a decent amount of miles, because I'm trying to reduce how many resupplies in the Sierra I do. And so when I did the PCT and I got out, I did something like 9 days and got out because I had to start at Kennedy Meadows and do about 60 miles to get to Crabtree and get to Whitney. And I also did Whitney, which took a day. And so after 9 days, I got at Kearsarge and to Independence, got a resupply, and had to carry, it's like 9 miles off trail and 9 miles back. And then another part that was a lot of extra miles that didn't count was when I got to VVR, the lake was dry. And so I had to do about 8.5, 9 miles to get to VVR, and then the same amount of miles to get back to the trail, because the boat wasn't running on the lake. So this year I think the lake is full, so I'll be able to take the boat and save a lot of mileage. And I'm trying to figure out my resupply so that I don't have to go over Kearsarge and waste an 18 miles in a whole day that don't count. So that means maybe longer food carries on the trail for the JMT, but I think it's a little bit easier to carry a little extra food than do 18 total miles that don't really count. So that's my plan. I'm still planning that right now. So that'll end. So if I start August 17th on the JMT, that'll finish around, I don't even know. I'm trying to think of probably within the first week of September. And I remember I took August and September off, so I'll have the rest of September off. So my plans after that, I'll have my car in Yosemite Valley. I have good friends, Brad and Caroline, up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. He's a good friend of mine, been in some of my videos. He lived in San Diego. They both did for a long time and just moved up there. So I'm going to go see them, hopefully get some hiking in, but just see good old friends and see where they live. And I've always wanted to see Coeur d'Alene. And I also have friends, Sally and Doug. They were, you guys may remember in 2021, I was on the trail, got to VVR, and it turned out that the Dixie Fire started in 21, and it closed all the national forests in California. So we weren't in danger. There was smoke, was kind of, depending which way the wind blew, but the smoke wasn't bad. But they made us get out of there. And I hiked out with Doug and Sally, and they happen to have a car, and actually they have a second home. They live in Coeur d'Alene. They have a second home down where I live here in San Diego, and had a car. We're actually driving their car to leave it at the house there. And so like I had no idea how I was going to get home. I thought it was going to be like, 10 different trains and buses to get home and take 2 or 3 days. But they offered me a ride, and we've been friends ever since too. So it's so funny how, trail people you meet not only help you, but they become lifelong friends. So they live in Coeur d'Alene too. So they've been wanting me to come up and visit them too. So I just talked to them on the phone. And so once I get within the first week of the JMT done of September, I'll have 3 weeks to basically go up there, hike some. I have some other plans, you guys, that I'm really excited about, and it just depends. Everything's fluid, depending on some emergencies that come up with them where they're not free, and then I have backup plans, things like that. If I have time and it's not too late in the winter, I have some ideas of doing other adventures, solo adventures. Like I would love to drive up Hart's Pass and do the 30 miles up to the Canadian border, the monument, come back just to do it. I would love to go to Stehekin. I hiked into there, but they have a place where you can park, and it's an 11-mile long lake. You can get on a really cool boat and go into town. And so I might do some backpacking on the PCT in some sections that I really like, or may not, depending on some research and things I want to do and the time available. So the problem with up there north is, as you guys may know, is the hikers have to finish on the PCT ideally mid-September, or it starts raining every day and then it starts snowing. So if I'll have all of September, but if I go see my friends in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and then decide, no, I want to maybe go up to the northern terminus, the weather might be too crummy for that. But if I have to be out there for 4 or 5 days of rain, that's not the worst thing. But the other thing I want to do is in Idaho is possibly the Sawtooth Mountain Range. So there's a big loop you can do, depending on how many miles, how much you want to bite off. So I have a lot of ideas and plans. I'm going to put a lot more into formal plans and keep them on my list. And then depending on how time goes and how I feel, I may not want to hike at all. After all that hiking, I may want to just chill with friends. So we will see. Okay, so the thing I said to hang on and wait till the end of the video, I want to talk about really quickly. The theory is, both of my permits, I have permits for 2 people. But you guys know I've done most of the PCT by myself. I've hiked around people, but I'm perfectly fine doing these by myself. But with the, I may or may not ask for some help from you guys, because remember, my permit is for July 24th to do the High Sierra Trail, which starts in the Sequoia National Park, and then you hike over to Whitney Portal and the Mount Whitney. So I've got to somehow, this is a particularly hard logistic hike to do. I have to leave my car at the portal, and I have to get, we're hiking 71 miles, but it's a 6-hour car ride all the way around to get to where Sequoia is, to get around all the mountain range. So there's people that charge, but it's a crazy astronomical amount. If my buddy that I've invited comes, we will have 2 cars, and we will arrange, we'll park a car at the end and then drive to the start. And then when we finish, we have to drive that person back to their car, but we'll figure it out. But what I'm asking for this is, if for some reason that falls through and I'm by myself, I would love to meet somebody that maybe either preferably lives in the area that can help me out. I definitely will pay you plenty for gas, but somebody that might be able to meet me like the day before I start on the 23rd, at the portal, and then help drive me there. A lot of people even do, they drive close. I forget if it's Visalia, but one of the towns is really close to Sequoia, and they spend the night and then get up really early, drive in, drop the person off, and they get hiking. That would be actually ideal. So that's my thoughts with that. I would love somebody that either lives in the area, or if you guys follow me and you enjoy my videos, and maybe you're on vacation, summer vacation, you're going to be around there and can work out, give me a ride. That would help too. So if it's cool, what I'll do is I have community posts, which are like I do a still picture and I make comments about things when I ask for questions for Q&As and stuff. I will either make a video or just put on my community tab if I actually need a ride or not when we get closer to the date. But reach out and send me a message down, in the message area if you think that's something that you live around the area could help out if I need it. So that's the possible help number one. The other one is for the John Muir Trail. I don't have anybody set up. I've invited 3 or 4 people. It's very hard for people. I've arranged my life to take time off, and I save money all year to go. So my life is set around getting these hiking adventures, but a lot of people have careers, families, and I totally get it. So I've invited some people. Some people really want to go, but to take off 3+ weeks, because remember, it's not only the 2 to 3 weeks to hike, but it's a day or two to get there and acclimate, and a couple of days to get back, especially if you have to go pick up cars and all that. So it could be well over 3-week time off for people, and so that's difficult. So there's a very good chance, and I'm completely fine. In some ways, I enjoy hiking with people. A lot of times I enjoy hiking by myself, so it won't be a bummer at all if I end up by myself, although I'd like to share it with somebody. But if I end up by myself and I start August 17th, is there somebody also that could help me with this too? Because what I need to do is basically logistically drive to Yosemite Valley. There's places for long-term leaving your car there, and I would need a ride back. I know there's some buses, but the problem is the buses get to like Lone Pine or whatever, but then you have to hitch or find a way to get up to Cottonwood Pass. So if there's somebody that lives around there, I mean, I could even take the buses to get to somewhere like Lone Pine and then get a ride from there to Cottonwood Pass. But ideally, I start on the 17th, so I want to get up that mountain on the 16th. So on the 17th, you can set up camp right there at the start, get up on the 17th and start walking. So if you guys can know anybody or have any way of helping me with that too, if I don't get another person, if I get another person, we'll be able to work it out ourselves. So both hikes may work out, and both I might be by myself. So that's what I'm asking for. And if you have any suggestions, please leave them down below. So mainly for me, this is exciting for me because I get a lot of hiking in, High Sierra Trail, possibly up in the Olympic Mountain Range, the John Muir Trail, possibly the Sawtooth Mountain Range, and some hiking up in Idaho, going on boats maybe on the lake, things like that, and maybe getting on the PCT up in northern Washington. So a lot of adventures. I'm going to just roll with the punches, see how things go. I think in September it'll really be based on weather and how good or bad the weather is. So that's my plan. Let me know what you think. I hope you're as excited as I am. I'm really excited. It's nice to go and do things, with the PCT. I loved it to death. I'm super proud of finishing that trail. But sometimes the trail dictates when you're there and what you deal with. But now I can pick the time I want to hike. I picked a later date purposely. I want to say this real quick. I picked a later date for the JMT specifically because I did August 17th to the first part of September because it's still a little warm. The average temp's like around 80, but it only gets to about 45 to 49 at night. It's usually past bug season, so I won't have to deal with mosquitoes. A lot of times when you get into August and then into September, you have less thunderstorms because it's not as hot and muggy and humid. So when I looked at all the charts, they say start of August to late September, early October is the best time to go. Obviously, if you're there on trail till late September, it gets pretty cold at night. So I feel like August 17th to early in September is the perfect time. And so that's kind of what I based everything around because I'm going to be on that trail so much longer. But that's about it. If you have any suggestions or, any thoughts about anything I said, please leave, messages below. And please consider subscribing and liking. Those are free. It really helps grow this channel. We're well over 14,000 now. My goal is to get to 20. So let's help everybody. The stats say that 90% of the viewers are not subscribers, and it's free. And if you hit the notification bell in the upper right, that's if you enjoy my videos, you'll be notified every time I have a new video. I know sometimes when you just watch some of these videos, they come up anyway. But subscribing and liking is free. It really helps everything for my channel, helps it grow, and the likes help the algorithm so it goes out to more people. All right, that's all I got for you on this subject. I can't wait. I'll be definitely doing more hikes and more training, dialing my gear in. I'll probably do, I'm going to do a couple of videos. I'm going to do a gear review for sure. The gear will be the same pretty much for the High Sierra Trail and John Muir Trail. So I'm going to give you a gear review for both. And then I'm probably, for the High Sierra Trail, I'm just going to carry all my food for the whole 6 days. So I'm not going to really show that, but I am thinking about making a video for my resupply plan, what I'm bringing, how I'm putting it together, and what I was thinking when I put it together. So if you're interested in that subject about something, logistics, because the John Muir Trail is a tough one to do. One of the ones that I was going to resupply at Red's Meadow, I've got to actually research more, but I hear they're only maybe going to be open on weekends, which makes a big problem because I was going to send food there, and I don't know if I'll excuse me, end up on a weekend there or not, so I can't count on it. So it's going to be difficult this year, but I want to stay on trail more, spend more days on trail, and take a 0-2, which is a rest day, like at VVR, maybe one other place, and not spend all the time hiking 18 miles out to Kearsarge to get a resupply, and doing the 18 miles into VVR. I want to stay on trail. It'll save me a day or two, and those day or two I can use to rest instead of doing all that hiking. And I think with between the I don't know the exact mileage, but the John Muir Trail is 211 miles, and I'll do another probably 20 to 30. So we're looking at, you know, probably 240 miles or more overall for me. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Please hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one. Take it easy. Bye.